"Don't touch me." That's the first thing she said. To the boy who just saved her life. Not a thank you. Not even a look of relief. Just disgust. Like his hands were dirt, and her blood was too good for him. She was lying in a twisted Lamborghini, bones shaking, smoke rising from the wreck, and still. She looked him in the eye and spat out hate. And the boy, he could have walked away, let her rot in the fire she helped build. But he didn't. He reached in, pulled her out, and dragged her to safety, risking his own life for someone who would have let him burn. That's the thing about real power. It's not loud. It doesn't come in diamonds or designer suits. It doesn't need headlines. Sometimes it shows up barefoot, scratched up, 12 years old, with nothing but a heart 10 times bigger than the billionaire it's about to save. The sun was blazing. The road shimmered like glass under the heat as a white Lamborghini tore down the highway, fast and loud. Behind the wheel, Victoria Hastings leaned back, one hand on the steering wheel, the other tapping to the beat blasting from the speakers. Her diamond rings sparkled. Her lips curled into a smirk. She didn't care about speed limits. She never had. Her phone buzzed. Another message from someone important. Another deal she just closed. She didn't even glance at it. She was on top of the world. Until she wasn't. Out of nowhere, a truck blew through a red light and hit her car full force. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. The Lamborghini spun, flipped once, then again, and slammed into a pole. Silence followed. Smoke rose. The smell of burning rubber filled the air. Victoria's head lolled to the side as pain shot through her body. She couldn't move. Her eyes fluttered, trying to focus. Through the blur, a shadow moved, small feet, careful steps, getting closer. Then a voice, soft but clear. "Ma'am? Are you okay? I can help." A boy, maybe 12, black, kneeling beside her. Victoria's lips moved. Her breath shook. Then she saw his face. And even now, broken, bleeding. She hissed, "Don't touch me." White ceilings, beeping monitors, the sharp sting of antiseptic in the air. Victoria woke up in a hospital bed, her limbs heavy, her mouth dry. Light poured through the half-drawn blinds, too bright for her pounding head. Her ribs ached. Her legs felt foreign. For a few seconds, she couldn't remember why she was there. Until it hit her. The crash. The fire. The boy. Her jaw clenched. At the foot of the bed, her assistant Lauren paced restlessly, clutching a tablet like it might explode. She looked up, startled to see Victoria awake. You need to see this," she said, barely meeting her eyes. Victoria frowned. "What is it?" Lauren hesitated, then stepped forward and handed her the tablet. The screen lit up with a flood of headlines. Billionaire racist rescued by 12-year-old black boy. Victoria Hastings refused help, but he saved her anyway. Karma. Cold-hearted queen gets saved by the kindness she never had. Her stomach twisted. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled. Comment after comment flew past her eyes. She doesn't deserve him. That kid's got more humanity in his pinky than she does in her whole empire. Is she even human? Let her rot. It wasn't just headlines anymore. It was judgment, anger, outrage, tearing her image apart line by line. The more she read, the louder the noise got in her head. She had spent years mastering control, every photo op, every headline, every investor meeting. She built her empire on precision and power. But this, she couldn't control any of it. And the worst part, he never wanted anything. No press, no reward. He just helped. He did what she never would have done. And now the world was watching, judging, dissecting every inch of her life like she was a villain in someone else's story. Her breathing grew sharp. Her hands curled into fists. Then, without a word, she slammed the tablet down onto the blanket. She hated this feeling. She hated being the one under the microscope. But more than anything, she hated Malik Carter for putting her here, for doing what no one expected, for making her look in the mirror. Because no matter how many walls she tried to put back up, she couldn't forget his face. 3 days passed. Victoria hadn't answered a single call. She had her assistant cancel every meeting, dodge every reporter, delete every comment she could find. But the story wouldn't die. Kept spreading screenshots, hashtags, think pieces. The internet had its teeth in her and wasn't letting go. And no matter how many times she tried to push the memory aside, the boy's face kept coming back. The moment he reached for her. The moment she pulled away. Eventually, she gave in. Late in the afternoon, her jet-black Rolls-Royce pulled off the main road and turned down a cracked street lined with sagging fences and boarded-up windows. Felt like crossing into another world. Gone were the sleek glass towers and marble floors. Here, trash bins overflowed, a pair of sneakers hung from a power line, and kids chased a flat basketball across pavements split by weeds. As soon as her car rolled to a stop, people turned. A Rolls-Royce didn't belong here, and neither did she. Victoria stepped out, adjusting her sunglasses even though the sun was already low. Her heels clicked too loud on the broken sidewalk. Her tailored coat fluttered in the breeze. Too clean, too perfect. Conversations stopped. Every eye followed her. Some curious, some cold. A few kids stared openly. A woman across the street folded her arms and didn't blink. She scanned the lot beside an old apartment complex. And there he was. Malik was sitting on the front step, head down, sketching into a notebook balanced on his knees. The paper looked worn, corners bent and smudged with pencil. His hand moved in short, certain strokes like he wasn't just drawing, he was building something real in his mind. Victoria stood still for a moment, unsure how to approach him. Then she stepped forward, slowly. He didn't look up. She cleared her throat, hoping the sound would break the tension, or at least draw his attention. Still nothing. Then, without lifting his eyes, he said quietly, "You're late." She blinked. "Excuse me?" He flipped a page, voice even, almost tired. "You were going to come. People like you always do. When it's about your reputation." His voice was calm, not bitter, just sure. Victoria opened her mouth, but the words caught in her throat. She had come with the illusion of control, thinking she could explain or at least manage the narrative. But in front of this boy, this calm, sharp-eyed child sitting in a world she'd never touched, she felt stripped down. "I never thanked you," she said, her voice softer than she intended. "You don't have to," he replied, still not looking at her. She drew in a breath, her fingers tightening around the strap of her purse. "I owe you." This time Malik stopped. His pencil froze. Slowly, he lifted his eyes to meet hers. "You don't owe me," he said, quiet but direct. Then he turned his head slightly and nodded toward the alley. Kids were playing barefoot, shouting over a taped-up ball, their laughter echoing off the cracked brick walls. "You owe them." Victoria turned to look. A girl with mismatched laces helped a younger boy climb a broken curb. Two teens leaned against a rusted fence, passing a cracked phone back and forth, watching her like a glitch in the system. No one smiled. No one waved. But they saw her, and for once that was enough. Malik's voice cut gently through the noise. "This is where I live, where people like you don't show up, where we only matter when we save someone like you." He wasn't shouting. He didn't need to. The weight in his voice was enough. Victoria clutched her purse tighter, suddenly aware of how out of place she looked. She didn't know what she had hoped for. Maybe an awkward smile, a polite thank you. But what she got was something else. Something heavier. A mirror she couldn't look away from. And for the first time in her life, she didn't feel powerful. She felt small. The headlines faded, but the weight didn't. Even when the media moved on, something inside Victoria didn't. For the first time in her life, the silence around her felt loud. She couldn't stop thinking about what Malik said. "You owe them." Not him. Them. The kids in the alley. The cracked pavement. The laughter that echoed off broken walls. The eyes that watched her like she didn't belong because she didn't. But maybe she could show up anyway. A week later, the news broke again. Victoria Hastings donates $10 million to underserved schools. People rolled their eyes. PR stunt. She's just saving face. The comments came fast and sharp, and this time Victoria didn't argue. She didn't post. Didn't speak. She just showed up. She visited a school on the city's south side, one with peeling paint and broken heaters, where teachers bought supplies with their own money. She didn't come with cameras. No podium, no speeches, just a notebook and a quiet presence. She sat in the back of classrooms, listened to teachers, walked through hallways that smelled like dust and determination. She shook hands with principals who weren't sure if they should thank her or challenge her. She looked kids in the eye and remembered Malik's words. "You don't owe me. You owe them." And somewhere among the noise, the doubt, the hard stares, something shifted. Not in them, in her. She stopped thinking about reputation. Stopped thinking about what the internet would say. She just kept showing up. And at one of those visits, near the corner of a library where the sunlight poured through a broken window pane, she felt someone watching her. At the back of the room, half hidden by a bookshelf, stood Malik Carter. He didn't wave, didn't smile, but he saw her, and this time he didn't look away. Weeks passed. The headlines changed, the world moved on just as it always did. But for one boy, everything was different now. Malik came home from school one afternoon to find an envelope slipped under the front door. No return address, no fancy seal, just his name written in clean, simple print. He opened it slowly, not sure what to expect. Inside was a single page, a full scholarship, for years, paid in full, not just for school but for housing, meals, books, a future. His fingers tightened around the paper. He read it once, then again, then a third time just to be sure the words were real. He stepped outside, stood on the cracked steps where he'd drawn her face without looking up, where he'd told her the truth without raising his voice. He looked up at the sky, at the city skyline in the distance, the same towers Victoria Hastings once ruled with cold indifference. The same towers that once looked like walls. Now they looked different, not because they had changed, but because he had. For the first time, they didn't seem unreachable. Not like a world made for someone else. Not like something that could only be touched through tragedy. He could see a way in now, not as a guest, not as someone lucky to be let through the door, but as someone who deserved to be there. Because sometimes power isn't about money. It's not about headlines or diamonds or last names on buildings. Sometimes it's the choice to be better even when no one expects it, even when no one says thank you. Sometimes real power looks like a boy who saves someone who would have let him burn and walks away not needing anything in return.